Welcome to Go Fact Yourself, the Top 10 Lists podcast.
The show where we dive into some truly mind-bending facts.
Exactly. Today, we are embarking on a top 10 journey into, well, accidents. Happy accidents, you could say.
Those oops moments that somehow changed everything.
We've pulled together the top research on 10 inventions, breakthroughs really, that weren't planned at all. Just sheer luck, mistakes, serendipity.
Things that make you go, wait, really?
Totally. Get ready for some serious WTF, no way that's real, moments as we look at how random fails basically shaped modern life. Okay, let's get into it. Number 10.
Kicking us off, something probably in almost every kitchen now. The microwave oven.
Right, but it wasn't like invented for cooking leftovers faster, was it?
Not at all. In 1945, an engineer at Raytheon, Percy Spencer, he was working on magnetrons.
Magnetrons. What are those exactly for radar?
Yeah, military radar, they generate microwaves, the electromagnetic waves. He was trying to, boost radar tech, maybe even jam enemy signals during the war.
Okay, so deep in war tech research.
And he notices a candy bar in his pocket has melted.
Huh, just melted.
Yeah. And instead of just thinking, oh, darn, his curiosity just clicks. He starts wondering why.
I wonder if other people had noticed weird heating effects before, but just ignored it.
It's possible. But Spencer, he didn't ignore it. He grabbed some popcorn kernels.
Oh, I know this part.
Right, zapped them with the magnetron, and they popped. All over the lab, probably.
Amazing. So popcorn first, what was next?
An egg, which didn't go as smoothly.
It exploded, right. Famously exploded in a colleague's face, apparently.
Yeah, bit messy, but it definitely showed the power of the heating capability very, very quickly.
So this guy, Spencer, he was self-taught, wasn't he? A real genius just figuring things out.
Exactly. And after the egg incident, he actually managed to cook a whole meal using this radiation.
Wow. So the military tech becomes a cooking device. But the first ones weren't exactly countertop models.
Oh, not even close. The first one, the Raider range, was enormous. The refrigerator size. Weighed like 750 pounds.
Get out! 750 pounds!
And cost as much as a used car back then.
Imagine installing that. And people were probably freaked out, right? Radiation cooking your food.
Absolutely. There were concerns, about sterilization, even cancer. Took a while for people to accept it.
Crazy. Okay, so from radar waves to mold. Number 9.
Number 9 is penicillin. A total game changer for medicine, obviously.
And this one came from a dirty lab dish.
Pretty much. Alexander Fleming, 1928. He goes on vacation, comes back, and finds one of his petri dishes, the ones he was growing staph bacteria in.
Yeah.
It's contaminated with mold, just kind of like fuzzy green stuff.
Most people would just toss that, right? Experiment, ruin.
Exactly. But Fleming, he noticed something weird. Around the mold, the bacteria were dead. The mold was actually killing the staph.
Whoa. So the contamination was the discovery.
Precisely. The mold was Penicillium notatum. He saw its potential, its antibacterial power, real sharp observation.
Okay, so he discovers this amazing bacteria-killing mold. And then what? Did he rush it into production?
Well, here's the surprising bit. No, not really. He wrote about it, documented it, but didn't really develop it further for, another decade.
Seriously? Why not?
It was difficult to produce in large quantities, hard to purify. It wasn't until World War II created this desperate need for something to treat infections.
Ah, the war connection again.
Right. Then researchers really figured out mass production. By 1944, it was being used for Allied troops, saving countless lives. They called it the wonder drug.
Wow. From a forgotten moldy dish to a wonder drug that changed medicine forever, that's incredible. Just a pure chance.
Absolutely. Okay, number 8 takes a very different turn. We're going from fighting bacteria to altering minds.
Uh-oh. Are we talking about LSD?
We are. Lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD-25.
Synthesized by Albert Hofmann, a Swiss chemist, right?
But he wasn't trying to invent a psychedelic drug.
No, not at all. It was 1938. He was researching compounds derived from ergot fungus, looking for potential respiratory or circulatory stimulants. He made LSD-25, tested it briefly on animals, didn't see anything interesting, and just filed it away. So another shelved discovery.
For 5 years, yeah. Then in 1943, he's working with it again, and he accidentally absorbs a tiny amount, probably through his fingertips.
Just a tiny bit.
And he starts feeling strange. Restless, dizzy, seeing fantastical images in tense colors. He didn't know what it was, but he suspected the LSD compound.
So he decided to test that theory.
Oh, yes. A few days later, April 19th, 1943, now famously known as Bicycle Day, he intentionally takes what he thought was a tiny dose. Turns out it was actually quite a significant amount.
Bicycle Day. Because he rode his bike home while tripping, right?
And he did. And it was, by his account, an absolutely wild ride. Kaleidoscopic visions, reality shifting, thinking his neighbor was a witch, the furniture breathing. A profound and probably terrifying experience.
Wow, that is quite the accidental self-experiment.
Definitely. And it opened up this whole Pandora's box. Later, the CIA got interested in Meltora, trying to see if it could be used for mind control, with very questionable results and ethics.
Yeah, that's a whole other dark chapter. But it all started with a chemist accidentally getting some on his fingers. Wild.
Okay. From mind bending to taste bud bending. Number 7.
Artificial sweetener. Is this saccharin?
That's the one. And another case of questionable lab hygiene leading to discovery.
Let me guess, someone didn't wash their hands.
Bingo. Konstantin Fahlberg, 1879. He was working at Johns Hopkins University in Ira Remsen's lab. They were experimenting with coal tar derivatives.
Coal tar. Doesn't sound very tasty.
Not typically, no. But Fahlberg finishes working, goes to eat, gets to wash his hands, notices his bread, or maybe a roll. Tastes incredibly sweet, much sweeter than usual.
And he didn't just think, sweet bread.
Nope. Being a chemist, he connects the dots. He traces the sweetness back to the lab, back to the specific coal tar compound he'd been working on.
Okay, that's pretty clever. But then didn't he kind of steal the discovery?
Well, it's controversial. He and Remsen published papers on it together initially, but then Fahlberg went off and secretly patented saccharin himself, without Remsen. Remsen was understandably not pleased.
I bet. So this stuff made from coal tar becomes a popular sweetener.
Especially during sugar shortages, like in World War I.
Right.
And then again with the whole diet craze in the 60s and 70s. Sweet and low, Tab soda. That was saccharin.
Right. I remember Tab. It did face some health scares, though, didn't it? Cancer links.
Yeah, based on studies in rats given massive, massive doses. Later research sort of cast doubt on the direct link for humans at normal consumption levels, and it's still used today. But yeah, it had its controversies.
All from forgetting to wash up after playing with coal tar. Amazing. Okay, number 6. What's next?
Number 6 is Silly Putty.
No way. Silly Putty was an accident. I thought it was just, invented as a toy.
Nope. Another wartime project gone sideways. During World War II, the U.S. needed rubber alternatives desperately. Natural rubber supplies from Asia were cut off.
Right, for tires, boots, all sorts of things.
Exactly. So James Wright, an engineer at General Electric, was trying to create a synthetic rubber substitute. He mixed boric acid with silicone oil.
And got Silly Putty.
Pretty much. He got this weird, gooey, bouncy substance. It stretched, it bounced higher than rubber. But it wasn't a good rubber substitute. It broke under pressure, didn't hold its shape well enough.
So as rubber, it was a failure.
A complete flop for its intended purpose.
Yeah.
But it was interesting stuff. You could lift comics with it, remember?
Oh, yeah. The ink transfer, that was the best part.
So the substance sat around, kind of a lab curiosity, until a toy store owner, Peter Hodgson, saw its potential.
He turned the failed rubber into a toy.
Yeah, he marketed it, packaged it in those little plastic eggs, called it Silly Putty, and by 1950 it was a huge hit.
Wow. And didn't NASA use it too?
They did. On the Apollo 8 mission, astronauts used it to stick tools down in zero gravity so they wouldn't float away.
That's fantastic. From failed war tech to kid's toy to space tool. What a journey for a blob of goo.
It's technically a non-Newtonian viscoelastic polymer, but yeah, mostly just fun goo.
Okay, number 5. This one apparently changed music, porn, and piracy. What could that be?
Magnetic tape.
Magnetic tape, like cassette tapes, VHS.
Exactly. The foundation for all that. And again, kind of messy origins. In the 1920s, German engineers were trying to improve sound recording, experimenting with coating paper.
Right.
Then, a guy named Fritz Flumer accidentally spills powdered iron oxide, basically rust powder, onto some celluloid film he was working with.
Spilled rust.
Yeah. And he realized, hey, maybe these magnetic particles could hold on to a recording. He experimented, coated paper tape with iron oxide, and managed to record sound on it magnetically.
So a spill leads to magnetic recording.
Pretty much kickstarted it. It revolutionized everything. Audio recording, obviously. Think mixtapes. And later, home video with VHS. And, bootleg recordings.
And didn't the Nazis use it early on?
They did. Quite effectively for propaganda. They could pre-record speeches that sounded live on broadcast, which was a big advantage. The technology was quite advanced in Germany.
Wow. So after the war,
American soldiers found this tech in German radio stations, brought it back. Companies like Ampex, with investment from people like Bing Crosby, who wanted better ways to record his radio shows.
Bing Crosby, the singer.
Yeah. He invested heavily. They developed the technology for commercial and consumer use, led straight to reel-to-reels, cassettes, VHS, the whole media landscape.
Crazy to think Spotify and TikTok have roots in spilled rust powder.
Okay, number 4, purple puke. That sounds unpleasant.
Ah, well, maybe not actual puke, but it was a failed experiment that produced a messy purple goo. We're talking about the first synthetic dye, mauve.
Mauve, that specific purple color.
Yep. Invented accidentally in 1856 by a teenager, no less. William Perkin, only 18 years old.
An 18-year-old chemist, what was he trying to do?
He was trying to synthesize quinine.
Quinine, the anti-malaria drug. From coal tar again. Exactly. Coal tar was this cheap industrial byproduct people were trying to find uses for. So Perkins trying to make quinine out of it fails completely.
And gets purple goo instead.
A really vivid, intense purple goo that stained everything. But Perkin, instead of just being annoyed,
He saw the potential.
he did. Natural dyes back then were often expensive, faded easily, colors were limited. He realized this stable, bright purple could be huge. He patented it as mauvine.
And it caught on.
Big time. Especially after Queen Victoria wore a mauve gown to the Royal Exhibition of 1862. Suddenly, everyone wanted mauve. It launched the entire synthetic dye industry.
Queen Victoria wearing accidental purple sludge. That's amazing.
And it led to all the chemical dyes we have today for clothes, hair dye, food coloring, everything. All thanks to an 18-year-old's failed malaria cure.
Mind blown. Okay, top 3. Number 3 involves explosive and medicine again.
Sort of. It's nitrocellulose or gun cotton, highly explosive stuff.
Gun cotton sounds dangerous. How was that an accident?
A kitchen accident, supposedly.
Yeah.
Christian Schembine, another chemist, in 1846, the story goes he was experimenting at home, maybe against his wife's wishes,
Oh.
and he spills a mixture of nitric and sulfuric acid. Strong stuff.
Spills it where?
On his wife's cotton apron.
Oh, no.
So he quickly wipes it up, rinses the apron, and hangs it by the stove to dry. P.F. The apron just vanishes in a flash of fire. It basically exploded. He'd accidentally turned cotton into nitrocellulose.
Honey, I blew up the apron. Literally.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And this gun cotton was way more powerful than gunpowder. It got used in the Crimean War, World War I.
So a major military development from a kitchen spill.
Yeah. And weirdly, it was also used to make the front motion picture film stock, which was incredibly flammable, hence lots of projection booth fires back in the day.
Wow. So it fueled wars in early Hollywood?
In a way, yes. It also led indirectly to developing smokeless gunpowder, and magicians still use a version called flash paper.
Okay, that's a pretty explosive accident. Number 2, Teflon. The non-stick pan stuff.
That's the one. Polytetrafluoroethylene, or PTFE.
How is that an accident? Seems like something you'd want to invent.
Well, Roy Plunkett, a chemist at DuPont in 1938, wasn't trying to make cookware slippery. He was trying to invent a new refrigerant gas, a type of freon, basically.
Okay, so working with gases.
He had these canisters of gas, tetrafluoroethylene, stored under pressure. One day he goes to use one, opens the valve, and nothing comes out. But the canister felt heavy, like it was still full.
Huh. So the gas was gone, but something was inside.
Exactly. He was curious, so he cut the canister open. Inside, he finds this weird, waxy white powder.
Just powder.
Yeah. The gas inside had accidentally polymerized, linked up together under pressure, forming this solid substance. And they quickly realized this stuff was incredibly slippery and resistant to, well, almost everything. Heat, acid, corrosion.
So it was useless as a refrigerant.
Totally useless for that. But DuPont saw its potential for other things, especially military stuff initially, like seals and gaskets that could resist corrosive materials in the Manhattan Project.
Ugh, the war connection strikes again. But how did it get into frying pans?
That took a while longer. In the 1950s, a French engineer's wife suggested trying it on cookware, and eventually, the Teflon nonstick pan was born and changed cooking.
And now it's everywhere, right? Not just pans?
Oh yeah, spacesuits, wire insulation, medical devices, waterproof clothing like Gore-Tex, all from a failed gas cylinder, protecting your omelet and your hiking boots.
Incredible. Okay, we've reached number 1. What could possibly top exploding aprons and slippery pans?
Number 1, the accidental discovery that literally holds things together. Super glue.
Super glue, of course. That stuff is crazy strong. How is that an accident?
Another World War II invention attempt gone wrong. Dr. Harry Coover, working for Eastman Kodak in 1942.
What was he trying to make?
Clear plastic gun sights for soldiers, precision optics.
Okay.
He synthesized a compound called cyanoacrylate, and it was sticky. Really, really sticky. It bonded instantly to absolutely everything it touched.
So not great for crystal clear gun sights then?
No, definitely not. It was deemed a failure for optics because it just glued everything together. The project was shelved. The compound was forgotten.
Another shelved discovery. Seems to be a theme.
It really is. Fast forward to 1951. Coover's working on a different project, testing heat-resistant polymers for jet canopies. His team uses some of that old cyanoacrylate again, and they accidentally glue some expensive lab equipment together permanently,
Yeah.
like two prisms and a refractometer.
Oops. Expensive, oops.
Very. But this time, Coover realized the stickiness itself was the amazing property, not a flaw, but the main feature.
The light bulb moment.
Exactly. He recognized its potential as a unique, fast-acting adhesive that didn't need heat or pressure. It was patented as Eastman #910, later marketed as superglue.
And it became huge. I remember seeing it everywhere. Didn't they use it in Vietnam, too? Medics?
They did. Apparently used it for quick, temporary wound closure on the battlefield. Spray-on versions.
Wow. From failed gun sites to battlefield medicine to fixing broken mugs and MacGyver's best friend.
Absolutely. Mythbusters even showed you could hang a grown man from a steel beam with just super glue. It's seriously strong stuff.
Failing to make things clear, but succeeding at sticking them together forever. What a great number one.
It really brings it all together, doesn't it? Looking back at this whole list, it's just fascinating how often major breakthroughs aren't these perfectly planned eureka moments.
Yeah, it's more like stumbling in the dark and tripping over something amazing. So many detours, mistakes, lucky breaks.
It really highlights how important it is to just be curious, right? To look at something that went wrong and ask, what's actually happening here? Instead of just giving up.
Like Spencer with the candy bar or Fleming with the mold. They didn't just see a problem, they saw something interesting.
Exactly. And connecting that to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
Hmm.
What about the things in our own lives that don't go as planned? The mistakes, the unexpected turns.
Could there be hidden opportunities there? Things we're missing because we're focused on the original plan failing.
It's definitely a question worth pondering. Maybe those failures are just undiscovered successes waiting for us to notice them.
Food for thought. Well, we hope this top 10 journey through accidental discoveries sparked some aha moments for you all.
And maybe encourages you to look at the unexpected twists in a new light.
So go forth. Maybe make a few mistakes. You never know what might come of it. Until next time, go fact yourself.